Welcome back. We're looking at the direction American politics has taken over the past few years and where they might be heading after the next presidential election. Is the American media doing its job in letting people have the full picture, or is it letting the public down? Well, our guests for the discussion are Arianna Huffington, editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post, who's being very direct about the failings of the current administration in her new book, Right is Wrong. In it, the media is held responsible for many of the current problems. Also with us from Princeton, where he's a professor of sociology, is Pulitzer-prize winner Paul Starr, co-editor of the liberal magazine, The American Prospect. And getting back to the discussion, I'd just like to get Professor Starr in here and ask about the prospect of a third option for American voters. I mean, it's so split along Republican and Democrat lines. No one really considers a third option. Is it something you would see establishing itself down the road?
Not very likely, no. There have been third parties through American history, but as one historian, I think very aptly said, third parties are like bees. They sting once and they die. So no third party, since the rise of the Republican Party in the mid-19th century, no third party has lasted very long. I don't see anything on the horizon. There was talk earlier this year of some effort. It was going to be called Unity '08. It died. Mayor Bloomberg might have been its candidate. He has not stepped forward to do that. So no, that's not on the agenda.
Ali is on the line from London. Ali, your question, please.
Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Yes, good evening to you. If you're living here in London, good evening to you.
Please, yeah.
My question is basically, what is the difference in terms of those from the Middle East region, and perhaps specifically from Muslim background? I do believe the American administration, whether it's a liberal or neoconservative, whatever you call it, they all have the same agenda, and the media, especially American media, is basically propagates they policies.
Okay. Let me ask Arianna Huffington about that. I mean, what Ali is saying is that the media here hasn't really questioned. I mean, agreeing with you to some degree. I wonder, when you look at the international media, how it compares with the US. Do you find that the US media has dropped its responsibility, but that other media around the world is still questioning?
Well, when I'm abroad and I look at foreign, international, different newspapers, whether I'm in England or France, I'm stunned, for example, by how differently the war in Iraq has been covered. You see gruesome pictures of what has really happened, of the suffering there, while the US press has really shied away from doing that. Less so, I think Paul is right, less so because there's been tremendous pressure on them to cover the war much more honestly. But again, the public are ahead of the media. We have 60–70% of the public that want the troops to come home. And it's really that discredited right that is still dominating our public policy when it comes to Iraq and when it comes to our foreign policy in general.
We had an email question I'd like to put to Professor Starr here. It's from Pakistan. And Imran Ahmed wrote in saying, "Freedom's power is the greatest discourse we have since Hobbes wrote liberalism over a century ago. I find that the most curious feature of our decline is our inability to produce such engaging discourses which capture the global imagination and help formulate policies the world over. The right, on the other hand, keep churning out books like The Clash of Civilizations and The End of History. Why do you think that is?"
Well, I'm not sure it is true that the right is dominating the debate today. And I think there's been a flood of interesting thought and new ideas that have come from liberals and progressives in America and elsewhere in the world. So I don't have that kind of a discouraged, defeated view. I think things have turned very significantly in the United States in the last several years. The 2006 election was a token of that. I think there are many indications in public opinion trends of a very significant change in the climate. The only reason that the presidential election is a question is that John McCain has been a dissenter from some of the conservative orthodoxy, and therefore he appeals to some moderates and independents. And because, frankly, it's going to be a very difficult thing to elect an African American, or for that matter, a woman, as president. So the presidential election is tight. But the basic shift in American public opinion, and I think in American intellectual life, is very fundamental and far-reaching.
London on the line, and Adam has a question. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is just a contribution to what Arianna was saying, sorry. I think she's absolutely correct that the media is not doing the kind of job the world is expecting them to do. Take, for example, with regards to the ongoing American election. People are looking at Barack Obama as a unifier, someone that could bring peace to the world. But now look at what the media is doing, like Fox News. They're trying to bring him down, taking this Reverend rights issue, playing it with those sound bites, and trying to convince the American people that seeing Barack Obama as a weak candidate. So
Adam,
he wouldn't be able to get the votes that he needs.
I want to ask Arianna Huffington this. I mean, it seems the media is far more direct about which side it's on now. I mean, where I was trained in Britain in the BBC, we were very much in the broadcast media. We were very much not aligned to any one particular side. Here, organisations now want to almost align themselves with right or left policies.
I don't think openly so. I don't think so at all. I think what is troubling is that they have internalized some of the messages of the right in their obsessions with sideshows like Reverend Right, and as a result kind of being distracted from pursuing much more important issues. Now, I think the main reason why we can still continue to be concerned about what is going to happen in November 2008, despite how discredited the right has been, is that John McCain remains in the eyes of the media a maverick, even though I have an entire chapter in my book called The Right Hijacks John McCain, in which I set down chapter and verse all the ways in which John McCain is no longer the John McCain of 2000 that the media fell in love with. On immigration, he's gone back on his signature issue. Even on torture, he voted against the bill that would have banned the CIA from using torture. On tax cuts, he called them unconscionable at the time of war. Now he wants to make them permanent. John McCain is no more as we knew him.
On the issue of the media, though, why do you think the American public doesn't question what it hears and what it sees in the media?
Well, the media are not exactly highly regarded by the public, and the many members of the public are increasingly going online for news, and challenging what they read in the mainstream media.
Professor Starr, what do you think has led to the change in the media here? Why, if to the degree to which you agree with Arianna Huffington, why do you think reporters aren't asking the right questions or taking the right approach?
Well, first of all, I do agree with the comment that she made at the end, that people are going online. In fact, in many ways, the whole media environment is opening up. It's becoming more contentious, more pluralistic. The so-called mainstream media do not have the field to themselves anymore, so there's a lot of backlash, a lot of back talk to the way Tim Russert and various others have been conducting themselves.
I want to get just to pretty much end on a quote here from Right is Wrong here, Arianna Huffington, on challenging the right. You say, in this time of Lilliputian public figures, it's clear that to end the hijacking of America by the right, each one of us needs to take up the gauntlet and stand up for the truth, no matter how many in the corridors of power would prefer to maintain the status quo. Is it essentially a call to arms for the public to do something about this?
Definitely a call to action. I wouldn't use the word arms in the current hypersensitive environment, but definitely a call to action, a call to sort of look for the leader in the mirror, tap into our own leadership potential rather than waiting for a knight on a white charger to save us.
Right. Well, Arianna Huffington, I wish you luck with your tour. Right is Wrong is the book, and thank you for joining us. Professor Paul Starr, thank you very much. Professor Starr's book is Freedom's Power. Thank you for bringing us with your questions. On the next show, we speak with the former head of the Osama bin Laden Tracking Center at the CIA on the state of the war on terror. Don't forget, you can send in your questions for that. Now, a special programming note, as part of Al Jazeera's coverage of 60 years of division, marking the founding of Israel, we'll be broadcasting from Israel and the Palestinian territories all next week. And you can watch and take part with your comments at 1900 GMT. Don't forget, we want your questions in by email. You can send those in advance as we do that special coverage of 60 years of division. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned.